What's up, everybody? Charlie Marlow here. Been a while since I jumped on camera to do a video, but I figured with this Los Angeles Times report regarding Nolan Arenado, perfect time to hop on, talk a little baseball, talk a little trade deadline with all you guys. Thanks for watching. As always, please comment, like, subscribe. I want to hear from you about this Los Angeles Times report regarding Nolan Arenado that reportedly he would be willing to waive his no-trade clause to only one team, and that would be the Los Angeles Dodgers. What do you guys think about this? What's the likelihood that Nolan Arenado will actually be dealt? I think it's a very, very, very slim percentage, but I'm not going to rule it out. So in the report, it says that Nolan Arenado would be willing to waive his no-trade to just the Dodgers, but then I saw another tweet or report basically following up where someone talked with Nolan Arenado's agent, and he said it was inaccurate that Nolan Arenado would only waive his no-trade to the Dodgers. So he didn't basically deny the accuracy of the report overall. He denied that Nolan Arenado, or he said it was inaccurate that he would only go and waive his no-trade for the Dodgers. So read into that what you guys would like to. And by the way, check all these tweets and reports I'm talking about. I did read them, but I'm on my phone here, so I'm not going to go through Twitter while I'm talking to you guys. But I'm like you. I'm jumping through Twitter and seeing different people talk about this, report on this, tweet about this, and all that. So also in the story that Nolan Arenado was not too pleased with the Cardinals' very quiet offseason. That doesn't surprise me one bit. Nolan Arenado is a fiery competitor. He wants to win. He's already been traded once. And this is why I don't think it's crazy that Nolan Arenado would want to leave, especially to a big-time contender, a team like the Dodgers. He's from California. He wants to go somewhere and win a World Series. The Dodgers are a team that are always in contention. They almost always spend. And if you're Nolan Arenado and you're with the Cardinals right now, worst season in 15, 20 years, whatever it is, you're seeing a team that is now spending in terms of the midpoint of baseball. They're right around, 16th, 17th, whatever it is, last I looked, in terms of spending across Major League Baseball, or 15, 16, whatever the number is. But look, if you're Nolan Arenado, what's your best chance to win for the next 3-4 years? Is it with the Los Angeles Dodgers? Is it with the St. Louis Cardinals? And seeing the lack of movement over this past offseason, seeing a team that's been really bad this year, and also looking at the fact that you have no pitching for next year yet, besides Miles Mikolas, Steven Matz. Now, they're going to acquire pitching, but are they going to try to do it on the cheap again? Look, if I'm Nolan Arenado and I opted in last winter like he did, and then the Cardinals basically don't do anything besides sign Wilson Contreras, a deal that right now does not look too great whatsoever. If you're Nolan Arenado and you got, about 4 years left, let me know, because like I said, I'm on my phone here. I think he's got 4.5 years left on the deal, and he's making big-time money. But this man wants to win. He's not 25 years old. Nolan Arenado's about 33? Again, I don't know the exact numbers. I know it's around 33, but he wants a World Series before he calls it quits. He wants to win. I also think once you've already been moved, once you've already been traded, it's just not a huge deal. I think if you're a guy who wants to spend your whole career with one organization, I get that. But Nolan Arenado already came up with the Rockies, played a bunch of years with the Rockies. Now he's a Cardinal, been a Cardinal for 2-3 years, whatever it is. And so now being moved again potentially, it's just not that big of a deal for players once they're already moved. Once you're not going to play for the same organization your whole career, what does it really matter? Especially if you're able to go to a team like the LA Dodgers. So I'm not going to pretend like I know the Dodgers pitching prospects. I don't. But for them, the Cardinals, to move Nolan Arenado, they would have to get just an absolute haul in a return. So in this article, it talked about the Dodgers' young pitching. It also mentioned the Cardinals, get maybe a Max Muncy or a Chris Taylor in return, so you get a position player. The Cardinals also, in theory, could add somebody like a Jack Flaherty. That was mentioned in this LA Times article as well. The Cardinals have a ton of people they could move. You got Jordan Montgomery. You got Jack Flaherty. Everybody needs pitching. You have Jordan Hicks. Even somebody like Chris Stratton. We joke about this on the radio show, Hot Take Central on 590 The Fan, but even somebody like Chris Stratton has value, and his contract's coming up. Remember, the Cardinals traded for Chris Stratton last year, along with Jose Quintana in that deal with the Pirates. So obviously they saw value in Chris Stratton, and after Chris Stratton's having a pretty decent year. Nobody's saying he's great, but if you're pitching to a 4-ish ERA, whatever it is, and some of your non-baseball card stats are actually better than that in terms of FIP and all that, somebody like Stratton could have some value. And again, this video is about Nolan Arenado, but I'm just pointing out, to make a huge deal like this, there are a lot of pieces the Cardinals could also attach to really anyone, not just Nolan Arenado. But you could do a package deal for a team that needed a starter, a reliever, maybe a shortstop in Paul DeJong, but somebody that needed or could use Jordan Montgomery and Jordan Hicks, or Jack Flaherty and Jordan Hicks, or Jordan Montgomery and Chris Stratton, or somebody that needs a shortstop. You could have a package deal for a Flaherty, DeJong, Jordan Hicks, whoever it is. But I think this report is fascinating because just think about it. Put yourself in Nolan Arenado's shoes. Were you happy with the Cardinals' lack of activity in the offseason? Heck no. You just opted in. You could have opted out, probably got a year or two more, maybe even from the Cardinals. You saw the deals that some of these guys were signing. Xander Bogaerts, some of these guys are getting paid till they're 40. Man, Nolan Arenado showed a lot of loyalty to the Cardinals by opting in, and I don't think the Cardinals returned the favor by doing much in the offseason. So let's say Nolan Arenado gave the Cardinals the benefit of the doubt. All right, we're going to trust you. You get Wilson Contreras, you think you have enough pitching. Well, they don't. And this season has been the Cardinals' worst season in 15, 20 years. They're about to sell off. Nolan Arenado has 4 or 5 prime years, not even prime, but let's say 3, 4, 5 really good, solid, productive seasons left. He's still really good this year, obviously, but you want to win. He wants that World Series. Where's the best place he can go find that? Is it with the St. Louis Cardinals? You know the Dodgers certainly spend more. They're in contention. He's from California. I just think this is a really interesting story. I don't think it's going to happen, and I would put it at 5%. But anybody saying it's impossible, here's what I'll say about the Cardinals. When people say that Nolan Arenado or Paul Goldschmidt specifically are untouchable, I just do not agree with that whatsoever. And here's why. The most important thing is that the Cardinals get pitching for next season and beyond. Elite starting pitching. That is the most important thing. So if your only way to truly get that, you think, is by trading an Arenado or a Goldschmidt, I think you should do that. Now, by the way, I don't think the Cardinals are going to do that. So there's a big difference in what I think they should do and what they will do, just so everybody knows. But the other thing about this conversation is I do think when you're specifically talking about Goldie and Arenado, I don't think it's crazy at all to bring those guys up. Here's why. It's a unique situation with the Cardinals because their best 2 young position players both could play those positions. Both Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker came up as a third baseman. So Nolan Gorman obviously now playing second base. He's doing a fine job. Not great, not terrible. Jordan Walker right now is in the outfield. But in a perfect world, if you didn't have Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, you probably would play one of those guys at third and the other guy at first base, whoever it is. So again, I do think the Cardinals are in a unique position with Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt that if they were to move those guys, and I don't think they will, but if they did, I don't think it's a bad move at all because you have young elite position players, your best 2 young position players, Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, play positions that those guys play. You could play a Gorman at third, you could play a Walker at first, whatever it is. And getting back to my earlier point, the most important thing the Cardinals need to do this trade deadline and this coming winter is acquire pitching. It doesn't matter if you have great position players in Arenado and Goldie if you don't have a good team. And for the Cardinals to have a good team, they have to acquire elite starting pitching. And if by trading an Arenado or Goldie is their only way or their best way to do that, I think they should. Again, for the 87,000th time, I don't think they're going to trade Nolan Arenado or Paul Goldschmidt, but I don't think it's crazy talk at all to discuss it. And to be honest with you, the more I think about it, I'm more of a trading Goldie guy than trading Arenado, just because Goldie's older, only has a year and a half left on his deal. But wrapping this up, it would not surprise me if Nolan Arenado is not happy at all with what's going on with the Cardinals this year, with a very bad season, but also the Cardinals' lack of activity, lack of spending this past winter, just signing Wilson Contreras, doing nothing whatsoever to the pitching staff, and also being a team that's now spending mid-level in baseball, 15th, 16th in payroll. Nolan Arenado, 33-ish years old, whatever he is, I don't remember exactly, but he wants to win. He wants a World Series. If you're him, don't you think your best opportunity to win a World Series for the next 4 or 5 years, whatever it is with the Los Angeles Dodgers? To me, it is. To me, it is. This guy wants to win. He's already been traded once. Being traded again would not be a huge deal for him. So what do you guys think? Again, I think it's a 5% chance of happening, but I think it's definitely worth discussing. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you think there's any credence to this report? Do you think he will be moved? Do you think he should be moved? Let me know. All right, folks. Appreciate it. This trade deadline should be crazy. Should be fun for the Cardinals. We shall see. See ya.